So a little backstory about this vacation we're going to show you. First of all, we hadn't been on vacation since probably the start of COVID. And we wanted to get out of the house. Everybody was talking about summer trips for once, finally. So my friend Andy, who is the host of the Ocean Cruisers podcast, he lives in Spain. Now he's from the UK, but he lives in Spain with his wife, and he has a sailboat there. He invited me for a week-long sailing trip. I mentioned this to Stephanie, and...
well, that you were going to Ibiza, Spain, and I said, hold up, so am I.
I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
So she came along, but wasn't able to do the more lengthy sailing part of it. So we just did a week long in southern Spain, Andalusia. We're going to show you that in this video, so sit back and enjoy. So we're just walking around Malaga. Wanted to give you a quick little tour, mostly just for our own memory's sake, because I think it's always nice to have video from your travels. And you know, 10 years later you can look back and experience it all again. But right now we are in kind of the main street that has a lot of the shopping. And what's also cool about it is it has this canopy above your head, and that's very helpful in the summertime. Cool thing here also, it has that Spanish culture of the tapas, the sweet vermouth that they sell everywhere at all the little tapas bars, the vino, Aperol spritz. Actually pretty inexpensive for a lot of the stuff. You can get a glass of the sweet vermouth for like $1, maybe $2. A glass of wine, maybe $1, $2. Tapas, which are just little tiny plates, you get a little dish in that for like $1, $2 sometimes, $1.50. So you have, 5 of those, you're good to go pretty much for dinner, and that's less than $10, so quite good. Yeah, so a great thing about the downtown area is there's just tons of restaurants and people are out, and there's little sidewalk cafes and
in alleys, any different corners you turn, beautiful little cafes everywhere.
So yeah, it's like everywhere you look, you got alleyways, shops, sidewalk cafes. Behind me again, sidewalk cafes, more, everywhere. And that's really what you get in this El Centro, in the center of town here. So we're at a sidewalk cafe, and this is just an example of Vermouth. So this is just super common here. I don't know how to explain it, but it's a sweet vermouth, but it tastes a little more unique than what you can find in the States. But here it's just so much better. They make them in-house at each one of the restaurants, and it's like stored in barrels.
More importantly, the Aperol spritz. It's very refreshing here.
Yeah, quite nice.
So this morning we hiked up to a castle, Gibraltar, something like that. A must in Malaga. It's great to see, built in 1400s. It's quite a hike up though, so.
Major hike.
The best part was we got to the top and then we saw a parking lot that on the back way you could take a taxi up. But it was fun nonetheless that we hiked up. Oh, but the best is the Picasso Museum, because Picasso, this is where he was born, and his house is here, and the museum's here. But if you want to do the museum, you got to stand in line. We also rented a scooter.
Oh, that was a great
around
time.
Town and great ride.
So we found that pretty much any city that we're in, one of the funnest and kind of best ways to see a lot in a short amount of time is on a scooter. Okay, I better check the map.
and we got outside the town a bit and went to different beaches, and that's fun too, because El Centro is great to be in and walk around and stay at your hotel. But so the beaches are just south of downtown El Centro.
So now we're just checking out some of the beaches just east of downtown, kind of the boardwalk area. It's kind of the local beach, but it's pretty cool because there's these little restaurants that they'll cook the fish on these open bonfires right in front of the restaurant on the beach. Really nice kind of wood burning, fish grilled situation. But it looks like you got kind of a local spot here. More of the locals would hang out here compared to the tourist zone. Later in the evening, we're actually going to go to Antonio Banderas' restaurant. Antonio Banderas, the actor, is from Malaga originally, and he actually still comes here frequently, has a big apartment, and has a lot of, he's very active in the community.
Malaga becomes a little village.
To see Antonio Banderas' hometown.
Anyway, we're going to try to go to one of his restaurants tonight. It's something like Pimpo. I just remember it because it has the word pimp in it. Even though, of course, in Spanish, I'm sure it doesn't mean what I think it means, but it's like El Pimpo or El Pimpo, something like that. Anyway, we're going to try that out for dinner tonight. We have one more day. We're going to Ronda. It's inland, and they say it's very hot. It's probably an hour and a half inland, and then after that we're going to go to Ibiza for a couple of days. So then we rented a car and we drove out to Ronda.
It was a nice drive through the agricultural lands of Spain and seeing windmills and vineyards. So then we arrived in the town of Ronda,
which was really a highlight of the trip. Then we arrived at this fantastic little hotel called, what was it?
Hotel Catalonia.
All right. Focus, there we go. So we just checked into our hotel here in Ronda, and now we're going to check out this pool because it's supposed to be,
What is it? This one?
it's supposed to be really a spectacular view. Just across the way is the bull ring, so you actually overlook the bull ring while you're in the pool, so it should be just spectacular. We're going to check it out right now. We're going to walk around the city. Stephanie has already found her way into a little shop. You fit right in with your dress. So Ronda has a really interesting history. It was built on this cliffside, which made it kind of a prime kind of fortress almost for the Moorish people. It was ruled by the Moorish people until conquered by the Spanish Christians in 1485. But the cliffside views of this town were incredible.
It was unbelievable. Actually, you can't put it into words how beautiful the views are.
And remember the guy who was walking his pet birds down the street?
Yes, it was very funny.
It's actually quite a bit bigger than I had imagined. You have all kinds of nice little shops, boutique shops. This entire strip here, shops every which way. Got this jamon shop. That's common in Spain. You have these ham shops, which will have these big ham hock legs of the pig that are cured, and then they'll cut off the ham from that. The most kind of delicate and the most expensive is what they call Iberica. Oh, Iberico. She corrected me, it's Iberico ham. And you can find the most expensive, they'll have like acorn fed. So you'll find like the pigs that are fed with only acorns their whole life. and apparently that's supposed to make it even more tasty. So definitely the biggest attraction in Ronda is this huge bridge that spans over this huge 400-foot deep ravine in the middle of town. The construction of the bridge started in 1759 and took 34 years to complete. If you look closely at the center of the bridge, you'll see a doorway. Now inside that doorway was apparently a prison and a torture chamber in the early 1900s. And during the Civil War, I guess they threw captured opponents from the door. Pretty crazy. You having fun? What are you doing right there?
I'm in the shade because it's 112.
We enjoyed more of the spectacular views around the city.
And then had a great dinner in the old part of town. The restaurant is called Maison El Sacristan, or Sacristan. Really great food there. They are famous for wood-fired meat.
So we have just eaten a crazy amount of food and now they've brought out more. And after dinner, we walked back through the little streets back to the hotel. Really peaceful streets at night. After that, we jumped back in the rental car and rushed back to Malaga airport to catch a flight to Ibiza. All right, we're leaving for Ibiza. Just taking off right now. Now, Ibiza is only about 90 miles off the coast of mainland Spain, but since we were coming from Malaga, which is in the south, the Andalusia area, it's a bit further. It's about a 1-hour flight. Then we checked into our hotel.
Pikes Hotel, or Pikes Ibiza it's called. And the only reason I booked it was that I heard that actor Idris Elba DJ'd there quite a bit, so I was hoping to see him. But we actually didn't know how famous the place was until we arrived. Pikes Hotel has a history of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, literally. The owner, Tony Pike, was basically a Hugh Hefner of Ibiza. Originally, he was from England, then he moved to Ibiza, bought some farmland, and built this hotel. As soon as you walk in the entrance, you see funky art and eclectic design, like this clown head trash can, beds in the middle of the lawn, random animal statues, oversized photos of models and rock stars, offbeat signs with quotes. It's a small hotel with about 24 rooms. And it really became famous after George Michael and Wham filmed their hit video Club Tropicana, using Pike's pool as the setting. That's Tony Pike there in the video. Other rockers who hung out at the hotel included Freddie Mercury, Grace Jones, Robert Plant, and Kurt Cobain. This place is truly one of a kind. The restaurant is super hip with the pink decor and random art pieces. Tony Pike has since passed away, but the funky vibe lives on.
The next morning, we walk into town and to the beach. We're in San Antonio, kind of like San Antonio without the O, but that's the main little town here in Ibiza. Well, there's I guess two towns: Old Town Ibiza, which is on the other side of the island, and then San Antonio, which is on the west side of the island. But pretty cool marina here. And we're getting ready to take a boat ride over to apparently one of the most popular beaches on the island, which is Cala. The beaches, by the way, on the whole, all the beaches start with the word Cala. C-A-L-A. So it's like Cala Salada, whatever. But that's one of the best beaches on the island is where we're going. We're gonna take a water taxi, which we figured is kind of the best of both worlds because we get a little boat ride. 30-minute boat ride to get there, enjoy the beach for a couple of hours, then take the boat ride back. It's only €9 per person round trip. So it's about $12. So it's not bad for, you know, an hour worth of boat ride, and then plus getting to that beach. So it should be nice. Found out what it was. It's called the salad. Okay, imagine salad with an A, salada, and then the saladita is the beach we're at. Currently walking back from the town of San Antonio back to our hotel, and we've walked about 2 miles so far on dirt roads. All right, leaving Pikes Ibiza. Now we're walking around Old Town Ibiza. Now, before we visited Ibiza, we didn't really know what to expect. Now, you hear about the party and the rave scene, but in fact, it's much different than that. For one, the island is much larger than we expected, and Old Town Ibiza is pretty large in and of itself. While I'm sure there is a party scene, the island is big enough where that's certainly not the only thing to do. Beautiful. We're still walking around Old Town Ibiza. This is kind of a different type of a neighborhood where it's just more, it feels like you're in the middle of a city. We're just enjoying the views of the boats coming in and out of the harbor, but Stephanie's gonna have to leave now because she's going back to the US, and I'm gonna meet up with Andy over on Formentera. I had to take a ferry, and Stephanie's leaving, not leave, my love.
Back to Malaga.
Yeah, she goes to Malaga for the night, and then to Madrid, and then back to LA. Okay, love. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. Bye, love. Don't leave me. Well, that's it.
Thanks for joining us for our summer vacation.
Tune in next week when I meet with Andy on a sailboat in the island of Formentera. We find some awesome anchorages. We then take his sailboat all the way from Formentera to mainland Spain, which is about a 2-day passage. Thanks for watching.